So, good evening, everybody. Mary Hunt here for water, along with Diane New, and also for water. And we're delighted that you're here. We are recording this, so you'll be asked there to approve that, and please go ahead and do so. And Cheryl Nichols is presenting tonight. So it's a regular water meditation time, and sometimes I think the regularity of how we do this and how simply we do it helps us to, at least helps me to move into a deeper contemplation. Um, our theme tonight is the Mary Oliver poem Mindful, and this is Monday, June the 8th, 2026, and Cheryl will be sharing that Mary Oliver poem in just a moment. Last month, for those of you who were here, you will remember that Cynthia Tootle brought us a message from Kuan Yin, a time for compassion. And you can access it on our website under water meditations, and then just click on that and you'll come to the various programs and you'll find Cynthia Tootle. And many of us were struck by the horrible bellicose events of our time that leave children dead and many of them wounded. And the question of how to find compassion is really a challenge. And I want to, Cynthia's not with us, I don't think, tonight, but I want to thank her in absentia for what was really a very rich and meaningful, for me at least, meditation. I see others nodding their heads. And that she brought this message from Kuan Yin is rather a breath of fresh air. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I trust Cynthia Tootle knows what she's doing. Let us turn then as we begin our time together, and thank you for being here, with a land acknowledgement. This is something that we incorporate in our programs to remind ourselves why we do what we do at Water and what we need to do more of, given the systemic injustice that Indigenous and other people of color face in this country. A land acknowledgement is simply not a way to check off a box. It's not a beginning. It's just a beginning. It's not an end. But we are on the indigenous land in Silver Spring, Maryland, that is the traditional and contemporary land of the Piscataway and Anacostan peoples. We acknowledge the trauma and injustice toward them and toward others that is deep in U.S. culture and history. We join in efforts to eradicate this terrible scourge on our country and make reparations for the genocide involved. Water's work in this way and in every way is aimed to bring about social justice. So I invite you to take just a moment to consider the Native people on whose land you sit this hour. And if you wish, you can feel free to list them in the chat as a way to honor them. As we enter into contemplative prayer tonight, I invite your special attention to the shocking and often illegal actions of the U.S. federal government. My dear friend, the late Janet Calvin of the Grail, used to say, and this would have been some years ago now, we are in the hands of knaves. I'm only glad that she left this planet before the current administration took the helm. She would have been 101 the year that she died, so she lived to be 100 and enjoyed a great and good life as a member of the Grail. We are in the hands of knaves, she said. And little did she know from knaves, having died now more than 10 years ago. Many of us know how we use this hour, but for anyone who's new, a warm welcome to you. Here's how it works. We have a short presentation, then we ring a gong to start 22 minutes of shared silence. And the shared part is important because it's one thing to meditate alone. Many of us do that in other settings. But when we do it together, I think something else happens. During that time, Cheryl will put up the image, a photo she took in France, for you to gaze at during that quiet time if you're so inclined. After our period of silence, we'll ring the gong again, open the floor for anyone who wishes to add their reflections to the mix. There is no obligation to say anything, but there is a warm welcome if you have something you'd like to share. In the meantime, please mute your audio so that we are able to hear clearly and get a good recording for those who will join us later in using this material. Let me introduce Cheryl Nichols, and then I'll turn over the microphone to her. I've introduced you, Cheryl, many times to this group, so tonight I'm just going to cut to the chase and say that Cheryl is a retired educator who is more active than most people I know who have full-time jobs. I know teaching immigrant women English is one of her great loves. Cheryl's also a stalwart worker on Thursdays in our community at the St. Camilla's Food Pantry, and she's a regular witness in front of the immigration court in Prince George's County, where so many of the newly arrived people are taken for judicial proceedings. Cheryl is close to the Religious of Jesus and Mary, the community of which she was a member for many years. They work, or worked until it became too dangerous, in Haiti, where Cheryl also worked. So Haiti is always on her heart. And I'm happy to say that Cheryl's part of the extended Hunt New family and is beloved of so many in our local community. Cheryl, welcome to you, and thank you for bringing Mary Oliver along. And we thank you and Mary in advance. You make a wonderful team.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. And I just want to second Mary's invitation for anyone who was not present last month. Please, it would do your heart good. And I think almost a act of contrition, maybe. That's how I felt after Cynthia Toodle's exercise in compassion. And it really was such a meaningful and experiential exercise that she's a hard act to follow, but her prayer was so meaningful and so deep. So if you were not present last month, I really encourage you to listen to it, to watch it. So somewhat on a lighter note, and I think our spirits need lighter moments for some of the darker moments that Mary is referring to. And also as we begin summer together, and we'll be together this month and next month and then take August off. But I'm going to do something I normally don't do, and I'm sticking to my prepared script because I want to be mindful of what I'm sharing with you. Swim in the now. Swim in the now is what I heard myself say in the pool while I was doing water aerobics exercises many years ago. In fall, in winter, and in spring, I take water aerobics exercise classes at a neighborhood pool. But when I started, I think 11 years ago, my stepmother had an outdoor, she and my dad had an in-ground outdoor pool. And so in the summer, instead of joining the class, I would go by myself to the pool early in the morning, and I would exercise alone. And often I was planning my day or thinking of the week or doing something with my brain. But swim in the now was truly a wake-up call to stop the thinking and just be in the water. To look at the beautiful blue sky and the green trees that kind of frame the sky from my perspective in the pool. It was just, it's a memory that I have really deep in my brain. More recently, this mantra, swim in the now, has become for me, be attentive to what you're doing now. Don't rush. Even if it's an activity I want to be over and finish. And what popped in my mind was brushing my teeth at night because all I want to do is go to bed fast. When I discovered Mary Oliver's poem, Mindful, sometime in this past year, I read it carefully. I reread it, and it brought me back to that morning in the pool, how the greenness and the blueness around me was both relaxing and inspiring. And I realized how being mindful of the natural world around me wasn't always or hardly ever natural for me. And as an aside, I have to share that really good friends of mine that I saw just a couple of weeks ago posted on Facebook day before yesterday their new kayaks in the river going out to the Chesapeake Bay. And that is something that once I was in a kayak and almost drowned, just left that alone. I'm not a hiker. And I chose to sit outside because of this next part. I live in the city and you can't see it, but right behind me is a shopping center. My backyard abuts to a city shopping center. But I have beautiful trees and shrubs in my yard. And when I sit out here, this is what I see. I don't see AutoZone, which I tried to block. It's the orange sign behind me. Um, I can see the gas station a little bit if I really turn and focus. But basically, what I tried to do is line my fence with beautiful shrubs. And I have a huge tree that provides so much beautiful shade and coolness. I have these trees, they provide me with quiet and shade, and I really do try to focus on them when I come outside. Also, I have recently returned to taking more care of the backyard and taking care to weed in the now and to relax in the sheltering beauty this yard offers me. So I offer in turn Mary Oliver's poem to us tonight to lead me and to lead us into the summer, to be mindful of the call to attention to God's beauty in which we find ourselves every day. And just the note on being mindful. I really resonated with mindful rather than mindfulness because abstract nouns end in NESS, and in ways they are abstractions. But for me, mindful is an activity, it's an adjective, it's active, and it's having me do something and become something, to become aware, to listen to look, to listen outside and to listen within. I'm going to read this poem twice. It's relatively short, as is many of Mary Oliver's poems. Mindful. Every day, I see or I hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It is what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the very ordinary, the very common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. Mindful by Mary Oliver. Every day I see or I hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It is what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, or the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the very common, the very drab, the daily presentations. O good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the oceans shine, the prayers that are made out of grass.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, and thank you, Mary Oliver. We'll put the poem in its entirety in the notes. It's from her book, Why I Wake Early, New Poems from 2004. Now I'm going to ring the gong, and we will have 22 minutes of shared silence. And Cheryl will put up a picture for us to use, a picture that she took actually in France. And I invite all of you to enjoy your contemplation as we all strive this evening to be mindful. Good evening again, and thanks again to Cheryl Nichols and to Mary Oliver for mindful. I hope it was a mindful time for each and every one of you in this time of meditation. The floor is now open. If you'd like to make a comment or share one of the fruits of your meditation, don't feel obliged, but feel welcome. It's important to say your name and maybe your location so we have a fuller sense of who's here tonight. And it's a way of deepening our bonds as well. I invite you to use the reaction button at the bottom of your screen, which allows you to raise your hand, as I have done, and that will bring you to the top of the queue so we know who will be next for making a comment. And then you lower your hand. The floor is open. Please feel free. With, again, deep thanks to you, Cheryl, and to Mary Oliver. It was a wonderful reminder from both of you of why we're here. If you can't raise your hand on the automatic way or the mechanical way, you can wave your hand as well. I'll be happy to call on you. Yes, please. Is that Rita Mary or is it Ada? I can't see who it is there. Yeah, go ahead.
Rita Mary Cote from Fonthill, Ontario, in the Niagara Peninsula. And Cheryl, I can't wait for my first swim in the pool, which I haven't had yet this spring, summer. Last year, I had surgery on my leg and I wasn't able to swim from one season to the next because of ongoing infection. But I spent time with a swim in the now, and I know that's going to be my mantra in the pool when I get to that point. So thank you. It'll be beyond the pool, but I think it really helped me to center myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita Mary. Yes, please. Is that Adrian? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll follow up. We had a friend overnight last night, and this morning, one of the books that we use and he uses as well is called The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And it's a daily meditation book that today's started with a Buddhist meditation. And the reflection was on being like a tree. And he said, I want you to go outside with me and do the meditation outside. And we have a beautiful, tall sunburst locust outside. So it's one of our favorite trees that we do look at every day and just watch. It's the last tree to bloom and the first one to drop its leaves. And it's just a marvelous tree. So the whole meditation was on that. But it also brought me back to Mary Oliver, and she always says the three most important things in life are pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. And it's that being astonished in the small things, and that's and what you said, Cheryl, and what Mary reminds us. It's not in the big extravagant things of life; it's in the smallest things. And that whole thing of the prayer being in the grass, it's there all the time for us if we can open our eyes and be astonished at the everyday small miracles that can elude us, and we could easily miss them. So it's just a reminder to continue to pay attention and be astonished. So thank you for that, Cheryl.
Thank you. Virginia Day, you're applauding. I'm not sure if you also want to speak, and if you do, unmute.
Well, it's both, I guess. I guess it's both. Um, well, I do thank you, Cheryl, and I think it's very timely that I'm sorry, can you hear the siren? No. Um, it's very timely that you offer this meditation at the beginning of summer because I just renewed in myself, my desire to really be present, to enjoy summer, the beauty of summer. And I don't know whether you can tell, though, there's a light kind of shining on my eye, but that's the sunset. And I'm in Stamford, Connecticut right now, and I'm on the 13th floor, and the gift is of the light. The sunsets are magnificent. But what I'm far from are trees because I'm surrounded by high rise. I have magnificent sky, but I also have huge high rise concrete buildings. So, I'm going to commit myself really to be out in nature because I need both. I need the light and I need the gorgeous sunsets, but I also need trees and birds and also to notice people. As I moved through my day today, thanks to you, Cheryl, I remembered the face of the woman that at the cleaners where I brought my summer clothes. And she was surrounded by a mound of other people's cleaning. And I thought, oh, what's life like for her? So that's the kind of mindful that that your meditation has helped to remember of what my own longings are like. So thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. Yes, Brad, let's go ahead, please.
Thank you, Cheryl. I was particularly struck by the phrase in Mary Oliver's poem about being killed with delight. There's so much killing, real killing in the world. And I think her poem and your reflection is a reminder that when we get so caught up in the despair of everything that's going on, how important it is to look for what's life-giving and what really delights us. And I really believe, without being something of a Pollyanna, that what's life-giving and what's good and nurturing in the world far outweighs what's harmful and destructive. And the challenge to me in your presentation and in the poem is to remember to look for what's life-giving and what kills me with delight rather than with harm and with despair. So thank you very much, Cheryl.
Thank you, Brad. Mary Day. Mary, can you unmute, please?
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
While I was letting the thoughts drift by me, I remembered I was brought back to a BBC documentary that Judi Dench made years back, and it's about trees, and it's about looking and becoming to understand how trees communicate with one another, and that they help one another when someone is in distress or one tree is in distress, they gather together to help one another. And it's through their root system that they do this. And I just think in this day and age, finding our roots and connecting our roots to other people is the only answer that's going to help us find a way to stay positive and to be hopeful people. So thank you for the reminder. If you haven't seen that documentary, it's wonderful.
Right. If you think of it and want to send me the full name, and I'll find a link, and then I'll put it in the notes if you'd be so kind as to
Okay,
do that.
I'll see if I can do that. Thank you.
Sure. And the same with Adrian, with the book that you mentioned. If you'd like to have that in the notes, just send it to me. Just the title. I can find the rest. The floor is open. Yes, Margaret Ellen?
I can't see myself, but I guess one of the things I was struck so much by that sense about swimming in the now, and yet when you showed the photograph, Cheryl, what caught me was that little figure, uh, like the Buddha, just sitting, and it's. I just find that there's like a constancy in that about the power of presence. Her position, I was just struck again by the calm and the presence of her position, and that that sense of presence. Like there's so many right now in my own community that are talking about the things they can't do anymore, and yet the gift of their presence is something that I find myself needing to reminding them of, and of myself. Um, so again, the just the ability to be still, um, and that whole sense of our body's stillness that then opens our heart and our mind to appreciate what's about us. But um, that little figure was the smallest thing in that whole beautiful photograph, uh, and yet you know. Uh, so I was surprised by the fact that it caught my attention, and I just found myself staying with that image of presence, which spoke again of what you said before about swimming in the now, just being present, and appreciating the ability to be present. And again, the presence to the one who calls us to be present. Um, just and also, I guess the other thing that uh, over the last number of days, I had the opportunity to see a movie, which is rare. And I don't know how many of you have seen it, but it's again, um, it's called Remarkably Bright Creature. If any of you haven't seen it, Sally Field is in it, and it's the story of um, she's a widow. She's working in a planetarium and develops a relationship with an octopus. Now, that sounds really crazy, but Cheryl, I see you smiling. Was that not a magnificent experience of being present? Uh, um, so it's a
Thank you
book.
very much, Margaret Ellen. I'm sorry, go
Yes,
ahead.
thank you. No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you
I'm
were
done.
finished. Margaret Ellen,
Yeah.
thank you so much and great to have you with us tonight, as in each and every one. But since you've not been with us for a while, it's great to have you back. Cheryl, would you like to make some comments and then we'll wrap it up here for tonight? But there may be someone else. Carol, did you want to make a comment? Um, was that Carol? Were you just waving your hand, or did you want to make a comment? You're all set. Unmute. I can't.
Yeah.
Carol, we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. No, I thought I did focus on the Buddha too, and I kept trying to enlarge little pieces of it, and I was looking at the reflections in the little pond, and I was trying to see all the little things that were around in that photo, and it was lovely. Yeah, it was lovely. But thank you very much. This is my first time, and yeah, it was really meaningful to me. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thanks for being here. And please feel welcome to come back as often as you wish. You are very much now a part of the group, so
Thank
uh,
you.
feel very free. And I will be sure that the notes include the picture so that you can enlarge it on your computers and look for things that you might have missed. And Cheryl might want to mention that we consulted the great oracle Cynthia Tootle, who's the expert on goddesses in this group, and she says that it is Kuan Yin that we're looking at, the Bodhisattva Kuan Yin. So, Cheryl, would you like to have the last word on this? And um, then we'll tie up unless someone else has something they're absolutely uh, anxious to say. But if not, we'll go to you.
I want to thank everyone for your reflections on the reflection. But a thought I had looking at the green around me is that nature is so much stronger than what we are. I pull up the weeds and they're back, and the vines are all over the place. And I can clear a lot out of my yard, but if they're next door, they're going to come back. And nature is so much more resilient, I think. So I think, I have a lot more to learn. I have a lot to learn because I'm not in nature. But I think, as maybe Virginia said, what I love about where I live is the best of both worlds because I have my community around me and I love the energy of the city. I don't find it noisy. I find it comforting, and I know that there's life going on around me. But I also have this backdrop of green and the blue sky, and I try to bring them both together. So thank you all.
Thank you, Cheryl, and we are deeply in your debt. We go away more mindful than we were an hour ago, and that is a great gift to give to people. So thank you. I also want to just mention two of our very regular participants who are not here tonight. Rosemary Burns Ganley, who I think has left already for Vietnam. She's going to Vietnam with her granddaughter or maybe two. And that's quite an adventure at age 89. I give her all the credit in the world. Virginia, you're shaking your head, and we did see Rosemary at the Women's Ordination 50th conference, and she was in fine form in a beautiful vest that had maple leaves. It was underneath one of her lovely outfits. It's a great style, but she had the red maple leaves to make sure that everyone knew that she was Canadian and proud, and she is, and she's wonderful. The other person I have heard from most recently is Jean Christensen, who wanted to be remembered to everybody tonight. And Jean Christensen, as some of you know, is a Sister of Mercy, and the Mercies, 500 plus of them are gathered in St. Louis. And she asked for our prayers and said they're making some decisions about the future of their community and what to do with resources and that sort of thing. So please keep Jean Christensen in your prayers. And she said she's having a great time. She said we're just having a blast. So we'll be exhausted by Wednesday, but today we're having a great time. So I like that spirit. Let me mention the next two water programs. One will be the day after tomorrow, Wednesday, the 10th of June. It will be a water talk at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The Vatican and Women Deacons was Phyllis Zagano. And many of you know who Phyllis Zagano is. And for those who don't, I simply describe her this way. When Roman Catholic women are ordained deacons, which frankly, I hope I'm long dead because I'm not big on the whole idea of ordination of anybody, but when they're ordained deacons, Phyllis Zagano will be credited with a win. That curly W would go to Phyllis Zagano because she has dedicated her life, body and soul to the question of women deacons. And I have great respect for her. Her meticulous scholarship and tireless chronicling of the process that never should have taken this long and this much trouble will be the historical record of how Catholic women became ordained deacons. So if you want to join in that conversation, I think there's already about 70 people already signed up. She's very popular as a writer and as a speaker and as an activist on the question of deacons. I call her Phyllis Deacon or Die Zagano. And I say that with great respect for her singleness of purpose and focus and laser focus on the question of women deacons for whatever reasons, but there it is. And there'll be some interesting, I think, takeaways, not just on the deacon question, but on how change takes place and how you move a recalcitrant organization and how you change people's minds. So that'll be fun. Wednesday this week, 1 p.m. Eastern Time with Phyllis Sagano. Feel free to sign up on the Water website. And then on Tuesday, the 16th at 7:30 p.m., the Water Ritual. Diane New and company will celebrate the summer solstice. And as people have said, it's such a beautiful time of the year that, as Diane writes, nature is at the summit of its sumptuousness. This is a magical time when wishes are made and can come true, a significant turning point in the wheel of the year. Join us to celebrate. So, Diane, I bet you money you'll be out on the deck that night too. Um, Diane's out on a deck
I
tonight.
hope it's a little lighter. Cheryl, I can't believe you're on your deck, I'm on mine, and we're easily 10 minutes between each other, 15-minute drive away. And look at your light and
Yeah,
look at
I was
mine.
like, and you're west. You are west of me,
Yeah.
so you should have
So
more light.
that sun setting Virginia day, I didn't get it. You got it all.
We have overcast skies today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
We also have a real canopy of trees out there, though. It's really beautiful and keeps it cool. So
And
we
the
started
kids
there
have
this.
gone in. It must be bedtime. So that's why I came out and turned on my sound.
Well, we started the morning out there today with Pat Parachini, who is a longtime collaborator. Tell me her community again.
Holy name.
The Sisters of the Holy Names, and she was over for breakfast this morning. It was a beautiful day to eat outside and just to hear the birds. And so we really were in the spirit of much of what's been talked about tonight, this morning on the deck. So it was a great pleasure. I conclude with saying that our next meditation will be on Monday, the 13th of July at 7:30 p.m. And Jean Christensen, whom I just mentioned, will be doing the meditation on friendship. She discovered that that was the date of a very close friend's birthday, and in honor of her, she's going to do the meditation. So I think it's quite lovely. So we always close for August at Water and for the early part of September. So do not plan on Water programs at that point, but all are welcome at our programs. We never charge a fee. We welcome donations, of course. And we believe that if we share together, there's enough. And that has been the case for Water for over 40 years due to the generosity of people like Cheryl Nichols, who so generously shared her time and talent tonight. So just remember, if we share, and that's the big if, together there's enough. And in fact, there has been and there will be. So that's very exciting to us as a way of living in a world that sees it quite differently. So I'm going to leave the Zoom open now for continued discussion if anybody wants to stay around. I know some will be racing to see the Knicks basketball game, and others will be racing to hear Rachel Maddow. And I'm not sure where others will be going, but I want to wish you, on behalf of Water, a mindful month ahead. I look forward to being with you on the 13th of July. So thank you again, each and every one, for being here. And especially those who haven't been here for a while, we're delighted to have you. And those who are new, especially delighted. And yes, that kills me with delight. Thanks, everybody.